Welcome to my channel. I am GDP and today I am releasing my new and updated PvE tier list for late August. So before we get started, I'd like to make a disclaimer that these tier lists are made with the thought of best possible team compositions in the game in mind, and which means basically the highest damage potential, and also that every single team in PvE is going to require a Heart Watcher. If you've noticed from my previous tier list, I used to have Heart Watcher into my damage dealer tier list. I decided to remove that and just put that into a separate box just to make sure that people know that Heart Watcher is a required hero, and for those newer players that they don't get confused that she's not going to be doing damage herself, but will just be boosting your team's damage. So let's go ahead and talk about the damage dealer tier list first. Not much has changed, but I do want to also make a point that the damage dealer tier list is made in mind with the heroes, specifically their damage potential and not their support ability. So let's go ahead into C and D tier list. Nothing has changed here. Only things to mention here is Penny and DA and Aydah in the C tier list here. Penny's an early game hero, so she's going to do really well for the early game player in the PvP and other areas like Seal Land and stuff. But once it comes to damage potential in the Flame Shrine and Broken Spaces, she doesn't rank very high in the tier list. DA, I have removed her from the S tier before and have just included her in the C tier list here just because she's super inconsistent on all the bosses. I don't think she should be built anymore, so she is just now into the solid C tier list for the rest of the time. And then Aydah is kind of like one of those early game heroes that possibly might be built by a whale. Don't think it's going to really happen anymore with Russell and stuff in existence, but if a whale does build Aydah, that Aydah is probably going to be doing the highest damage for them in the early PvE, but when they get into mid to late game PvE, Aydah does not do very well. So let's go ahead and talk about B. B is where I have basically made all my changes into my damage tier list. I have added both Rogan and Drake into the B tier list here. They provide a lot of support, but them as a hero themselves, they don't bring a whole lot of damage. They can do a couple billion, but they're not going to be doing 5, 6, 7, 8 billion damage like other heroes, and I believe that they fit in B tier list for the damage tier list for them specifically, not including their support ability. So let's go ahead and talk about A here. A here has, once again, Delossium times 2. Very solid composition there, but most people do not build Delossium. I don't recommend it. We got Delossium here, just because this is just because of all the attributes that could possibly be out. Delossium does do a lot of damage, and this is not talking about Delossium with a dot dealer. Sigmund is in there. Sigmund actually does a decent amount of damage if you are able to support him pretty well. He can do 4 or 5 billion. Same with Nakia. Nakia can do 6 to 7. And then I got 2 times Skiri, and then also Aspen below 35% HP, doing really well. Let's go ahead and talk about the S and S plus. Nothing has changed here once again. 3 to 4 times Skiri is an S. That's pretty much self-explanatory. Garuda, once again, another solid hero. Russell, solid hero. And then you got Ithaqua. Ithaqua, I believe, to be the single highest damage potential hero in the game. If you want to talk about just pure damage potential, single target, she even beats out a lot of multi-target heroes like Garuda and Russell. If you're able to build a support boost composition and you're just to pick out and isolate each individual hero in the game, Ithaqua will do the best. I personally have done 60 to 70 billion damage just from Ithaqua with no Delossiums, which means no replications. So Ithaqua is a very solid damage dealer. I believe to be the best damage dealer in the game. And then you also got an S plus. You got 2 to 3 Delossium plus a dot dealer. This is the best kind of like a team boost that you can do for a dot dealer. It's the highest damage potential you can get. You can get hundreds of billions of damage. I'm getting consistently 150 plus with them, sometimes over 200 to 250. Sometimes it's going to happen. The 300 billion is going to happen sometime by me once I get my Sigmund boss up, but I still haven't done that. But 300 billion, I believe, is possible with Delossiums. With Athaqua, I have seen Delossiums do over 100 billion just themselves. I think the highest I've seen from a Delossium is 112 billion just from a single Delossium. So that is the highest damage potential you can possibly have if you combo it with an Athaqua. Let's go ahead and talk about pets here. Nothing has changed. Phoenix is the best. Then you got the wolf pet and the snake pet. Most new players are going to be building Phoenix as their first pet, which means that they're going to have a very solid PvE pet. But now PvE pets are talking about normal team compositions. If you're talking about a Delossium army, you're going to have different pets. For a Delossium army, you're going to have Dragon as your best pet, followed by Fox. The reason being is when you run a Phoenix with a Delossium army, you have no burn synergy, and also Athaqua doesn't work with Wolf or Snake. So you're running any three of those pets, you're basically wasting your active from your pet, which means that you're not going to be gaining that 80% damage boost. So you look somewhere else where you can utilize an active. And for Dragon's case, you get a 75% holy damage boost, which is really, really, really good for the Delossium army. And then you also have the Fox, who gains energy for your team, and that is a very solid way to keep your dots rolling and give as many actives out of your Athaqua as possible to get the booster damage. So Dragon first and Fox second. Fox also gives skill damage, which is a little bit of a bonus, and precision. And then Dragon gives you crit and crit damage, which is really good for Athaqua. Let's go ahead and talk about dot dealers here. Nothing has changed here except I've removed Michelle in honorary mention. I don't think anyone should be building Michelle's. It's pretty much food hero, so I just deleted her off of this. I could probably delete like Penny. I could probably delete the entire B list off of this because I don't think anyone's going to be building anyone in the B list, but I am going to leave that there. You got Athaqua as your best dot dealer, followed by Nakia, and then the other choice most people would do is probably Sigmund, maybe a Aydah because of the new Void coming up. People might have might be building a Aydah now, but those are pretty much your best dot dealers in the game. Athaqua, Nakia, Aydah, Sigmund, and then sometimes if you did build a Dosmog dots are pretty solid. Let's go ahead and talk about support, which is another list that has actually changed. Once again, at the top, we have Drake in the S plus tier. I have added Rogan into the S tier alongside with Olivia, Gurki, and Belrain. Rogan is a very, very, very solid support hero. He brings crit percent and attack, and first couple rounds he'll give you a little bit of crit damage, but that's not what you want to worry about. You want to worry about the extra crit and the extra attack. And then also on his active ability, he gives 2 random allies an ability to heal when they do their basics or actives, and also do percent HP based damage. So Rogan is up there in the S tier as one of the best supports in the game, and also probably one of the best supports for Athaqua. And then I have added in the A tier list Ignis. Ignis is a very, very, very solid healer. She gives damage reduction, she gives energy, and she gives a very, very, very potent heals. She is the best healer in the game when you're talking about raw heals, and she's going to do very, very well for keeping your team alive, supporting them, giving them energy, giving them damage reduction. So I believe she is in the A tier list. I'm not going to talk about anything else that's changed here because if you guys want to go check out what I've said about these other heroes, you can go check out my previous tier list videos. But let's go ahead and talk about my best team composition. So the new best team composition I have is Drake, Rogan, Thaqua, Heartwatcher, and 2 Delossiums. This is the best team possible in the game. If you're able to keep everyone alive, this team will produce the highest damage potential. Real quickly, just talking about stones for Thaqua. If you're running a Rogan in your team, like this best team composition, you are going to want to run Holy Damage Attack in combination with Dragon and Rogan. But if you don't have Rogan in your team, you're going to probably want to bring Crit Attack. That is going to probably outperform Holy Damage Attack in consistency wise, even though Holy Damage Attack will have the highest damage potential. Crit will be more consistent, but once you add in the Rogan into your team, Holy Damage Attack becomes very consistent and consistently better than Crit Attack. So that is why I say that, and this is the best team composition. Once again, Drake, Rogan, Thaqua, Heartwatcher, Delossium. If you ever run into issues with your team dying running this, you can swap out a Rogan, put in a 3rd Delossium, and that'll do really well for you, but it's not going to be the best damage potential. So 3 Delossiums is not as good as 2 Delossiums when you combine Thaqua with Rogan and Drake. So thank you guys for watching today's PvE tier list, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.